Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Tyngsborough Planning Board meeting, September 18th, 2025. We'll start by introductions. To my right,
I'm Pamela Berman.
Kimberly O'Brien.
Jeremy Baldwin.
Dave Robson.
Steve O'Neill.
Good evening, Chaz Dowdy.
Michael Page.
David Nader with TEC.
Okay. First on the agenda tonight, we have Toll Brothers to come in and discuss development for the enclave. Toll Brothers want to come up? So now who you are.
I'm Jess Marsh with Toll Brothers, Land Development Manager.
Austin Turner, Bowler. Thank you for having us here. It's been a little bit since I've been here. I think Jess, you were here last month, right?
Yeah, a month or two ago.
So we've been working in the background. I know kind of the ongoing discussion we've had, particularly based up front, the grading of the driveway and some of the work that Toll Brothers has been undertaking to improve that condition. All the upgrades that have been undertaken are complete now. So that included the hydraulic routing of utility lines, including the upgrades we made to Basin 8, and all the related work, including the installation of the additional catch basin piping. What we've been doing in the background since that work's been completed is been out there regularly observing it after a rainfall event, usually immediately after the rainfall event within 24 hours, to see, okay, how's the system performing? Is it doing what we expected it to do? And making sure that as we come in here and reconvene with you, that it's doing what it was supposed to do, or we're pivoting. As you may or not have seen in the quick memorandum we provided, the system is functioning as we hoped. It's Basin 8, the one in the front corner, is effectively dry, almost within 24 hours after a rainfall event. We're not seeing water regularly going through that.
Excuse me for a minute.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Just want to take a break for 1
Yeah,
second
no problem.
to see if you can.
Good.
I think this guy can fix it. Go ahead, proceed. I think it might be good.
No, I think it's good. Good.
I think so.
Yeah, all right. So we pay close attention to the pipe that goes under Sherburne as well, because that, as you recall, I'm sure, was regularly producing water, almost steady state. It does not do that anymore. It appears to be, as far as we can tell, because I've been out there when it's pouring out too, as the catch basins at the driveway opening in Sherburne exceed their ability to infiltrate stormwater, that's the relief valve, and as soon as that abates, the pipe dries out. So we're pretty happy with how that has gone. And then one other item we noticed, you can see the video, or you can see the picture up on the screen, there was a catch basin that was immediately adjacent to Basin 8. When it was set a bit high, and you could see bypass on it, partial bypass on it. Water was kind of getting around the front of it a little bit. You recently have that lowered, and the video shows water going in there. So before, what was happening is you'd see water kind of run around the front of it almost in a 90-degree U shape around the rim of that catch basin, and you were getting a fair amount of bypass. It was making it to the curb opening, but that wasn't the intent. The intent was for that to take some of the pressure off the curb opening, and now it's doing what it was intended to do. So that was recently completed over the last
I
couple of
believe
weeks.
it was the week after Labor Day, so very recent.
So the other thing that we had on here was, it's unrelated to the stormwater, but the relocation of the cobble apron. There was some discussion about that, and we've moved it back to the front of the driveway where it's interfacing with Sherburne. That's on the plan here as well.
Which was a recent
Actually, it's not,
request.
it's not, it's not, I don't think it's that, it is that plan. Yeah, it is that plan. It's right there. So that was the request at the last meeting, so we've moved that. That's where that will go. So what we wanted to talk to the board about tonight was your thoughts on it. Ultimately, I know there'd been some discussion a long time ago about some conceptual improvements on the open space piece to address some of the stormwater issues that we were talking about over the last year. Given this and what's happening here, I think the takeaway from that was, let's see how this goes and let's do some routine monitoring to see how it's behaving. And then we'll revisit the need or lack of the need for the thing across the street. So that's where we are. That's what we want to talk about with you tonight. And I'd be happy to drill into everything further.
Yeah, I mean, the grouting was one of the biggest things that we had talked about. I'm glad to hear that it's going well. I know we haven't had like the significant rainfalls to really test it all out, but it sounds like it's doing its job, so it's good to hear. My biggest thing was that catch basin and how it was routing around, that near Basin 8, which I hadn't seen. I went out there when we had a massive rainfall about a month ago or so, and it was all going around, so I'm glad to hear that you've been able to lower that. And could you just speak briefly just on what you were talking about for across the street? I know that there were plans, I guess there's no more plans for that, is that the case now?
It's in a state of purgatory, I guess, for lack of a better descriptor. So this goes back a little while ago, and we had a number of meetings, many with the planning board, conceptualizing a stormwater management system on the other side of the street that would effectively collect water from the culvert that goes under Sherburne, keep it underground, and route it to an underground detention system to abate the flow, which at the time was happening regularly. What the board, I don't necessarily disagree, was a little bit, a lot of it tepid on that approach. Didn't want to, my words, many words, encumber, if you will, the open space piece with additional infrastructure. So the takeaway from that point was, let's do all the stuff that we did, see how it performs, and then revisit the discussion to see if we thought the thing across the street may still be warranted, or if we wanted to contemplate something different. One solution may have been, okay, we don't need that anymore because everything's doing fine. So that's the abridged version of a much more extended conversation, but that's what I was referring to.
Great. No questions right now?
Jeremy? I'm sorry, Chaz?
What about me?
If you'd like to go before him, feel free.
I'd like to have Dave maybe comment on what we've heard and what's going on. Is that
Absolutely. Yep, if you want to put Dave in.
Yeah,
Dave
yeah.
first? Yeah.
Of course. Thanks, guys. So yeah, we were out there yesterday, and we saw. I mean, the big thing was that catch basin at the site entrance, right in front of Basin 8, was lowered. It did appear to be gathering water. I think it was from the sprinklers. When we were out there, we were able to see it. The one thing. So right now, Pam has this up on the board, and my apologies for not being able to share it with you guys beforehand as well. But I sent this out to Pam, I think, an hour before I left. Essentially, so this, I think last time we were talking a little bit up around the corner was just another thing that we had mentioned was there was water bypassing catch basins, not right at the entrance, but they were bypassing the catch basins that would collect it before it got to the entrance. So I think this, especially in larger storm events, you end up seeing more storm water at that site entrance than would necessarily be seen otherwise. So that's one thing that I still would like to see them kind of fix, being able to corral that stormwater before it gets to the site entrance, because I think that would help a lot of things down there. The second thing would be the riprap, I guess, entrance to Basin 8. So in their memo, and I don't disagree with them, is the sediment that's shown in front of that riprap, and basically going in and out of Basin 8. It is, I mean, the sediment buildup there is showing that water is sitting there. So it's showing that water isn't necessarily, the grading at the front of the site entrance, they do have a high point there, meaning it's pitching that water back. I don't know, and I don't know if you guys have had spot grades out there, just to confirm what the elevation is of that riprap, because it does seem like it's a little bit higher than it might be. It also could just be me looking at it. My eyes are no match for a surveyor's rod, but just making sure that water isn't just ponding there, and whether it's a maintenance issue like you had mentioned in your memo regarding siltation buildup, or if that riprap is a little bit higher than it should be, right? Having it so any water that is there is pitched back towards it, is actually captured in the basin versus just sitting there. I think those are my two, or I guess three, including the update of the catch basin, my three takeaways of the stormwater at that site entrance. Regarding the culvert going across the street, I mean, we haven't seen much, if any, flow through it in our site visits out there. The understanding before they had put in those seepage collars was it was groundwater getting in there, coming down the utility trenches that were then essentially tied into those leaching catch basins that are connected to that culvert flowing across the street. We haven't seen that. I will also preface that as we all know, it's been a pretty dry season too, so groundwater is pretty low. So just take that as you will. But those are my thoughts, and that's I guess the status of that from my point of view. If I missed anything, please let me know.
So you want-
Yeah, go ahead. You're up. Thank you, Dave.
So based on Dave's thoughts and your thoughts, Austin, is there some place we can meet in the middle here to try and fix a couple of the things that he's concerned with?
Yeah, I mean, Dave has some good observations, and frankly, we share them, and just to address them directly. So we identified the same thing he did. There's this little pocket of sediment building up at the curb opening to the basin. What we're finding and what we saw, and we've already communicated this to the team who's going to be actively maintaining it, you get some sediment buildup, it kind of rolls up and forms this lip in front of the riprap. So we're going to lower the riprap, pull it back a little bit, and then get the sediment out because it creates an unintended little berm. It might be an inch or two, but what it does is it inhibits the water from getting into the basin and then creates that little stagnant pocket until it fills up and spills over, and then sediment forms around that low spot. So that's what's happening. It's a maintenance issue. It's actively being corrected, and it's something with this kind of arrangement, which is not unusual, just needs to have regular maintenance. We've communicated that to the team, and they will be doing that regularly. So.
And I think a lot of that sediment was from before we adjusted this catch basin in the front too, so that'll help with some of the water.
Sure. It was taking on more water than it was supposed to because the catch basin was, you saw the U-shaped bypass on it. That should largely be alleviated, but we're still going to open that up and maintain it. The second part to the catch basins, which are kind of up and around the bend, further interior to the site, I believe that site's part of it's still a binder.
Yeah, it's not top paved at
So-
that point.
It's not to minimize the idea of the fact that the catch basin is being bypassed. It's going to be top paved, I think, fairly soon.
I'm probably in the spring, based
Okay.
on when our homes are gonna be finished.
And the idea is when they do that, they're going to establish the grades further in the road, form the crown, and really force in those low points as they're intended to be in the final condition. So right now, they're operating in a bit of a temporary condition, which doesn't have the final grades formed around it, which is why you're seeing some of that partial bypass condition up there.
So let's talk about maintenance for a minute. Is there a way to make these systems so that they have less need of maintenance? Or is it's gonna be something that's gonna have to happen all the time, and if so, how often
I
is the
think
maintenance
it's,
gonna
so,
be? Who's gonna do it?
the short answer is yes. The longer answer is, we're gonna do what Dave suggested, pull some riprap back, because inherently it acts like a little bit of a break, if you will, and it slows the water down, and then in turn you get a little bit of accumulation of sediment right there at the opening. So pulling that back should lessen the need to maintain it, though any basin, regardless of the setup, needs maintenance. So it's probably on an every couple of months basis or an as-needed basis. If you get a big flush, particularly in the spring after things have been sanded, you really want to pay attention to it. Or in the fall, if leaves are accumulating, that's usually your prime period to make sure that stuff's operating. You might need to do it more frequently in those instances, based on what you're seeing visually. What was the second question? Sorry.
I was, so you're saying these things would be maintained twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. Is Toll Brothers doing that actively now, and then once you guys are out of there, then it falls on top of
I
the
think
homeowners association, and
the minimum requirements would be in the stormwater O&M, which I believe was quarterly, but spring after snow melt, fall after the leaves come off are the two biggest, if you will. But also it's qualified with, on an as-needed basis. There's always going to be visual indicators there, in this case, the sediment. We're going to improve that by pulling the stuff back and less inhibition for the water to get in there. But you always have to be watching and paying attention to it as well, just to make sure things are functioning as intended. So that's going to be on Toll Brothers and ultimately the HOA when things transfer over.
Yeah, right now it'll be Toll Brothers. Like I did make an adjustment to the riprap, I don't know, 6 months ago maybe, and that was Toll Brothers. The pond is being mowed by the HOA, but as far as like adjustments for stormwater, like, Toll Brothers will take care of that.
but then ultimately it falls on the homeowners association. And
Long-term, yeah.
if in fact things start going across the street again, then what recourse does the town have for the homeowners association to try and fix that problem?
Well, so, do you think that the riprap is causing water, the issue at the front of Basin A is causing water to go across the street at this point?
No, I think like Austin was saying, when there's a sediment buildup there and how the riprap is now, it's preventing it from flowing in or giving you at least the elevation difference between where your high point is to that. I think accumulation of items, right? So additional stormwater that gets there from upgrading of the site, which should be collected prior to getting there, is putting too much stormwater in there. Additionally, the catch basin that wasn't catching anything at the site entrance right there at Basin 8, that with everything coming down from it wasn't catching anything, and all of that was essentially overtopping the high point that they have in there. That being said, I mean, in the chance that catch basin is clogged, right, or there's something wrong with it and sediment buildup, just lack of maintenance overall, I mean, there is the possibility of water overtopping that high point, coming down without regular maintenance and going into Sherburne. You do have the two catch basins that are at the site entrance that are on the roadway to kind of mitigate that effect. But in the event of a large storm event with zero maintenance over the course of time, I mean, there is always the possibility of water going into the roadway. Sorry, you're the one who asked the question.
No, because I was understanding it the same way, like, that sediment, which is a small amount of sediment, has been there before we adjusted that catch basin, so I think that's gonna help resolve it, and then we can make adjustments as far as maintenance, but for any community like this, there's gonna be long-term maintenance that the HOA has to do, especially with that pond right there.
And how long do you think Toll Brothers is still gonna have control over this situation before it gets turned over to the HOA? Are we looking at another year, or?
So I reached out to our construction department, because I'm not super involved in the actual home building, but we do have 5 homes left to build, and I think it takes 6+ months to build each home, so I think into next year definitely, before we would even be done building homes. And then when the majority of the construction's done, we top the roads and we start the turnover process with the HOA.
So you think probably in the spring you'll be done and do the roads, finish the road work at that point?
Yeah.
So that's when the system would really be able to be fully functioning, and we'll have a much better idea of what's working or not working at that point.
Yeah, I think probably spring, summer. I mean, even after we top the roads, we still have a punch list that we kind of work through with the HOA, and we have a whole transition process with them where they usually hire their own engineer and come up with a list of requests. So the turnover process takes some time. Toll isn't going to be gone in April, you know what I mean?
Okay. So it's still a work in progress really then, and will be until after everything's paved and maintenance is going on.
When you say
Yeah.
work in progress, you referring just to the community in general?
No, I'm concerned about the water situation.
Sure.
And, you know, the way I understood what you were saying is some of those catch basins that were in the picture still are not capturing as much water as they should. And until the paving's actually done, that's gonna be the way it is.
Yeah, so I think, right, and what I'm also looking at too, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but just kind of how I'm envisioning it, right? So we made some pretty substantial improvements, appropriately so, to the basin, the utility corridor, routing, grading, what have you. By and large, that seems to have been successful. And I'm providing context in there, in my own head of like, it's successful and there's still things upstream of it, which are not in their finished condition, and when those get finished, in theory, it only gets better because it's taking more than it would otherwise, partially,
Yep.
and still operating like it did. I'm not saying that to minimize your comment, I'm just providing
No.
a view into how I'm envisioning it or
Yeah,
looking at it.
and I just wanna make sure that I understand
Yeah, course.
there's still improvements to be made, and there have been plenty of improvements made, but we haven't had any rain either, and
No,
until we get a good storm, we're not gonna really know.
we had a couple really good ones, that's why we used them for the memo.
Yeah.
We had some ones that pumped a bunch of water in there, and I was really actually curious about it because the volume of water that fell, we went out there and, 20 hours after or something. There was a part of me expecting to see that basin and still have visible water in the bottom because it was only 20 hours after. And it had abated, and the pipe going across the street was dry. So that told me a couple things. It told me the pond's working as it should be, and that it's not finding its way to that pipe and getting across the street. So if that pipe in that kind of volume and it didn't have any kind of immediate or obvious indicators of it functioning for a longer period of time, okay, it's a decent indicator that things are
Yeah.
doing what we're supposed to, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Steve? Good. Yeah, a few things. I guess we'll go to the beginning. As far as the basins up, I guess, up in the development around the corner, we talking the ones on the right-hand side when you pull in and they come off the grass part?
You're talking catch basins, or
Yeah,
you're talking?
catch basins. It bypassed that originally when it was coming over.
So as you're coming up along the corner, I think
Yeah.
the picture that we had was the one that's immediately on your left. after you-
Correct,
Yes.
but the one, we're talking the ones up that aren't catching the water also.
Correct, so as you're coming up, and then that first
Around
right,
there.
yeah, if you look at the, I think we pulled together an image for you, so right around building 100.
Yeah, right around the first
Yes,
thing,
yes.
right, the water was coming off the
Correct.
grass. So you guys are gonna address that, is that gonna get lowered also?
So the plan
Cause
is,
it's,
the roads aren't top paved there, so typically when you top pave it, you like pitch it to
I-
the catch basins.
I get that, because originally, we were told that the grading was wrong originally when the hot top was put in, and that was the cause of it. And we haven't regraded that whole area.
So it wasn't, the grading wasn't wrong. It was,
Okay,
they
the
didn't-
hot
it-
top was
it
off
was-
grade.
it was, so in fairness, the grading was there, it was a nuanced grading that functioned, but there was a couple spots that were left a little bit soft, a little bit high in the shallow slopes. So the grading,
So it wasn't, it just, lack of, argument and
yeah, it got
semantics, it
got
wasn't
fixed.
done
It
properly.
got fixed, right.
And that's at least what I recall you saying at one point. Has that been corrected yet, or
Yes.
is that gonna get corrected with the final
So
code?
the grading I'm so referring specifically to the grading at the entrance that before it comes up and then makes that kind of hard 90.
Yeah,
That's all been fixed, that's finished paved, that's functioning as we intended it to
so
originally.
that's finished paved up around,
I think
Pretty
up
much to
until
the
brick,
gate, like just
the gate.
past the gate, is top paved. You can like visibly see a lip, but it's probably, I don't know, 10 feet past the gate maybe, is top paved.
so can you pull it and take a left into that,
It's just before the parking lot to
It's
the amenity
before it.
is top paved.
okay. So the rest of it has, so none of
The
that's
rest
gonna get
has to be
regraded?
paved.
No, that's already top
That's
paved.
done, yep.
What about the granite curbing? Was that corrected? I mean, you guys do that according to the plan? Because there
Belgian
was an
block?
issue with it at one point where you moved it back or something?
You talking the cobblestone?
The cobble,
Cobblestones,
oh yeah, so that was
Oh.
another thing we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
We were putting it back to the front location that you guys had requested at the last meeting, and that's what that plan is up there.
Yep.
We were initially talking
So
at the
that's
last,
not completed yet?
we wanted to get your approval, so we had a plan showing it up by the gate, and we had presented that at the last meeting, and then you all said you wanted to see it back at the entrance, so that's what we were coming today with this plan,
So-
showing it back at the entrance.
To the original plan?
Or very, very, very similar. I mean, what we did is we didn't want to introduce that cobble entrance where we have that grading going into the basin because the surface is less smooth, so we didn't want to put the cobble further interior to the property, so it's on, you can see it on that plan. It's on the lip coming into the property, and it's not going to interfere with any of the grading into the basin, so it's not exactly the same as it was previously intended, but it's almost identical at this point.
We don't have the plan that shows where
That's
it
it.
should be, right? Where originally was?
It extended just a little bit further into the property before. We didn't do that with this one because we have that inflection point with the
Well,
grading.
When you come back, can I see the difference? Show
Are we
me
coming
the
back?
Difference on, I don't know,
I don't know either, so.
well, I would hope so, you're gonna have an as-built, right? I'm not gonna approve this without seeing what we're deviating from.
Sure,
So-
yeah, we can,
We can,
Yeah.
so you don't wanna come back, that's fine.
no, it's not, I just hadn't gotten to that point in the conversation, that's all.
Okay. The maintenance plan, isn't there supposed to be a maintenance plan on the catch basins and all the, what is the normal maintenance plan? 4 times a year and as needed, or?
It can be, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head what the approved O&M plan is for this site. I do know that, it has to do with, it could be storm dependent, as far as inspections go, and then also cleaning out twice a year isn't out of, the realm of.
Do you guys have a maintenance plan?
Yes.
That we can see, or
It
that
was
was
included
given
in
to,
the-
it was given
included
to
with-
us originally, correct?
We did.
A maintenance plan?
Both for immediate term and the long term.
Check on that
Of course.
and
Yep.
just check it, because, this way here we'll be sure what the maintenance plan is, and regardless of whoever owns it, we'll have to maintain it by
Mhm.
that maintenance plan.
I do believe, what I remember though too, and everybody can correct me if I'm wrong, I know that, I think basin 8 is the only basin that is in its final condition. I think all the other ones still have the, sediment in
Yeah,
them
'cause
that
they didn't-
will be cleaned out before turned over.
That's right.
As well as.
Right,
for
because
testing,
they
yes.
didn't have to
Yep.
do it during construction for
Correct.
some reason.
The
Correct.
original
We
plan
didn't
is up
put-
on the
we
screen
didn't-
right now.
What's that?
The original plan is up on the screen right
For
now.
the call light, right?
Yeah. Um,
Right.
How long do you
Yes,
warranty the project when you leave completed, as-built done, turned over to the, I know the houses usually how long?
I don't know what, because we haven't contracted anything yet. I don't know what I'm sure a permit says something as far as,
Can you let us know what
Yeah.
the warranty is and warranty on your workmanship? And if it's just, when you're done, and it gets turned over to somebody else. And also, you know, you talked about the maintenance plan across the street. I think the concern with that was, we didn't want the water from that project going over there, okay? It wasn't that we didn't want a system over there. We just didn't want that system justifying the relief of the water from the project from one side of the street to the other. Because if we do have a 100-year storm, somebody doesn't maintain it, we're gonna have an issue across the street. And then if we don't have a system there, then that's an issue. I think the concern was, we didn't want that system acting as the backup for the work to be done here. At least that was one of my concerns. So I don't think that, you know, by saying it's not needed now is accurate. Maybe it does, I guess may be accurate on your point, but my concern was always to make sure that we kept the water on that side, but also not to infringe on the town property across the street. So I would like to see something done with that in case there's major failures here, which there could be. So, that's another one of my concerns. So, you know, if you were looking for me to say tonight, you don't need it, I wouldn't be there anyways until after I seen this other stuff.
I think why we wanted to talk about it tonight was just we were looking for some direction on, do you want us to do it, do you not want us to do it, or a timeline on when we would make that call. Because we do have an agreement with the select board and we do have a bond and a commitment to do it. But they had came to us saying, we want to wait until the planning board weighs in.
And I think my concern is, I wanna make sure this is working before we do anything over there, so that we know that your system is working to the best that it was designed for, I guess, if that makes sense. And if the water is, coming over, which you will from them bottom catch basins anyways, we're gonna need a system over there. So, that's my concern. I think, I just didn't want it to supplement the design that you guys already have, you know, to fix the flaws, you know, let's just do one over here and forget about what's coming down the hill. That was my concern. So,
Understood.
but, you know,
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
we will,
no,
if that's the direction and you guys want us to install it, we'll
I-
install it. I thought that there was some concerns about like long-term maintenance responsibility with it, but,
I think we did get into that. We don't know who's gonna be responsible, whether across the street, the association takes over or not. But like I said, I think we're still, I guess we're a lot closer to that than we were a year ago. But, I think that's it for right now.
So the screen is showing the approved plan on the left and the proposed, or the improvement to the cobblestones on the right, for your comparison.
Right, so that's, the cobblestones go up further. How many feet is that? Looks like
Maybe,
10,
Yeah,
15,
I was gonna say 10.
20 feet?
yeah, say 10, but
but that plan on the left didn't include the improvements to Basin 8.
right, so there's
Right.
a couple reasons why we moved the apron down a little bit. And what we had done, if you may or may not recall, but the ridge line in the grading at the driveway was further interior to the property in the approved version, which is the plan on the left. And as we had further discussions with the board, as construction was happening and people moving in, and we were talking about the Basin 8 improvements, we actually pulled that high point further down to the road to force more water into Basin 8. So really the difference in the apron location is the shift in the high point as we pulled it closer to Sherborne Road to get more water into Basin 8. We didn't want the cobbles to be in there because that surface is not as smooth as pavement. We didn't want to inhibit runoff getting to Basin 8 by putting a cobbled surface in there. Because
Yeah, but the cobble surface is pretty, you know, you're talking quarter inch maybe?
Yeah, but you have the waters, and they get laid like bricks, so they're not
Right,
even,
so
the
they're
water's
like-
gotta meander through there, and then all of a sudden,
But how
takes
much
longer.
water would meander through
It's-
there? I don't think that much to worry about it.
I mean,
It's a,
it's
you know, it's minimal
Right.
because you got hot top that it's gonna run
until,
right across.
until we get a 33-degree day in January, it rains and then freezes overnight, and then somebody has an issue with it, right?
It's gonna be an issue anyways. if you
I
get-
know, I'm trying to minimize that. I mean, fundamentally, it's a visual thing on the property. I mean, we
Yeah,
can,
I think it looks good with the cobblestones, actually.
no, I agree. I like the cobble entrance. We just adjusted the location a little bit to accommodate the grading.
I'm good for now.
Okay. Couple of things. First off, I wanna make sure we all understand how dry this season's been. Because, we've all seen how bad that place actually gets when it rains on a regular basis like we normally have. And we're probably moving into some rainy conditions very soon, so I guess we'll be able to see a lot more coming up in the next couple of months. As for the sediment, have you guys cleaned the catch basins up top at all?
We do
Since you started?
SWIP inspections, so we have a third-party inspector that comes out, provides a report, and then internally, if there's items that remain on there, which would be cleaning the silt sacks, we have a certain amount of time internally that we have to get rid of them, so they can't be on there past like 60 days, 30 days. So we have cleaned them, and I think you provide a report as well, that you inspect the catch basins.
We do. We know which catch basins are clogged and which ones aren't. Or I should say silt sacks are clogged and which ones aren't.
And are they flowing, working properly right now?
Off the top of my head, the last time we were out there, which was yesterday, I can't remember. I know in the past, the ones that were up further towards the back have been clogged. But I don't, we're out there, I guess we're out there every other week. I can't tell you definitively which ones are
Okay.
right now.
All right. Secondly, you said grass mowing is taking place in the number 8 detention pond or wherever it is, that one down by the street?
Mhm.
What are they doing with the clippings and stuff they're taking out of there? Are they being just cut and left to the ground, or are they being removed?
I don't know, I can get you that answer. The
Yeah.
HOA has a maintenance company that does it.
Okay, if you would. And as for in your Bowler report here, it says, where do I want to start? Presumably, this pipe is now only active when leaching catch basin located on Sherburne Avenue temporarily exceed their ability to infiltrate water, stormwater runoff generated by the roadway. Can you describe to me what you're saying is the water generated by the roadway,
Yeah, so those
And-
catch basins at the front,
which are yours, that you guys put in?
we put them in at the request of the DPW director and the engineering department.
Okay,
They are collecting water in Sherburne Avenue,
Yeah.
runoff Sherburne Avenue. You get a really high intense stormwater event, and those catch basins are leaching. Most times, those catch basins are able to take that water, diffuse it through the leaching, the perforations in the wall. We have seen it where you're getting a very big deluge and there's a high intensity rainfall event. The ability for those catch basins to infiltrate the runoff that's getting collected exceeds that. They will fill up and then temporarily discharge into the culvert that goes across the road.
all right, so now I'll have you see if you can answer me another question. In my life of living in Tyngsborough, that golf course being 10 years of my life, why did I never see any flooding on that road prior to this development? Even the runoff the road, did you guys change the roadway at all up there, the height of the road? Did you guys do anything in the road?
I think we just paved in the gutter line when the driveway
So
interface.
you didn't touch Sherburne Avenue at all?
The utility work,
Yeah,
is that right?
so that's what I'm saying, so
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah,
change
offset
any of the
road improvements.
elevations or anything like that? I'm just trying to figure out why there's water there that you think is coming from our road when we never had it there before until this project was there.
That's a low spot, a relative low spot.
I understand, it's been a low
right?
spot for my entire life.
Right.
Never had any puddling there.
I don't think we're seeing puddles now, are we?
Well, like I said, we've had exceptionally dry. Prior to this, in the springtime we were, a lot of it still. A lot of it. So I just wanna, I wanna make clear that, I've said it from day one, and you'll hear me say it again. I've never seen a construction site be allowed to able to take their water that's causing problems and put it on somebody else's property. If water is coming that bad onto what is now the town property, that is solely on your development. And that's what we're trying to correct. And I hope, you saying these catch basins being working and all this, I hope this is gonna prevent it, but I'm certainly not gonna sign off or do anything, for this project until we know for sure that this is working. This is not just a problem for the taxpayers that drive on that road, it's also a problem for the people that are spending $1 million on these homes like that. That's all I have. Mike, do you have anything you want to point?
Do you guys have any, like, design or plan for the potential remedy across the street?
I don't have it on me, but I know we've shared it in the past and we can share it again.
Okay, that would be good. I mean, yeah, I think obviously the rain, it's hard to assess this with such limited rain right now. The water table is exceptionally low. So I think having an idea of what's to come and also just evaluating during the fall when it rains would be a good test. Separate note, I'm curious, do you guys know when you're gonna stripe the road, the crosswalks going across to the park?
I don't, but I can get you an answer.
Really good. Just a lot of people crossing now. I drive the road every day.
They didn't put the crosswalk up yet, right?
We got the signs
Signs
up.
Well, yeah, I put,
But the lights
mhm,
are up,
mhm.
Just no
just no paint.
stripe across the road. That's all I got.
Okay, and one more quick thing too, since we're here and you guys are in front of us. Any information on what's going on with Coben Road with the pothole?
Yeah, I sent Ben an update. We contracted JT Lynch to do an investigation. I don't have a date for that work yet. I was told it'll occur in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's their busy season right now, so it's kind of hard to get a schedule at this point, but it is contracted. We are gonna do the investigation.
Okay, and what do you exactly what's your investigation? Like, what's happening?
I sent like the details to Ben, but it's like I don't remember how big the section is, but cutting a section of the road and where that, pothole was or the, sinkhole, and trying to see what's going on underneath. As far as we had a force main in that area. I know the sinkhole is not exactly where the force main is, but it's in the general area, so we're just gonna try and see if there's something going on.
Okay, it's
With the pipe.
it's in your repair, like from your sidewalk over to, the center of the road. And it's about probably, I don't know, maybe 2 feet off the center of the road. And I did read that, and you guys said you're gonna have them do like a 6x6. You can do the 6 feet lengthwise, whatever you want, but it's gotta go, the repair has to go from the center of the road
Yeah.
to the edge of the road,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably more than 6 feet. Just so we all know now, so that it doesn't get repaired when you open it up and then, it's not in. And secondly, I'm gonna have our engineer on site, I believe, right, Dave, we discussed this?
Yeah, it can be on site.
And we wanna make sure that the hot top is the thickness that needs to be there.
Yep, I'm gonna have a geotech on site as well.
Okay. Charlie, anything else? Kim, do you have anything? Good?
I guess, was unaware of the, patch. Can you explain to me, maybe?
The
Yeah.
Coburn Road. Yeah, so, Benjamin reached out and said that there was a small sinkhole in Coburn Road. We had installed a force main there 2 years ago, I think, at this point. So there was the location of the sinkhole is not where the force main was installed. It's more towards the center of the road, and the force main was to the left of it. But regardless, we wanna work with you guys. We wanna do the right thing, so we're gonna investigate and see if our force main caused it.
But when you guys do the work in the street, isn't there warranty for 5 years anyways?
I don't know off the top of my head what the warranty is, but
When
yeah, we're
somebody-
gonna investigate what the
Isn't
issue
it
is.
usually 5 years on a open street, the open street?
It all
up to
depends
the
on,
municipality? Yeah, I think when,
Whatever it was, we also negotiated an extra year warranty that they agreed to. Do you
Well, you're
remember that,
gonna-
Austin?
you guys are gonna,
I don't, but I'm not saying you're wrong either.
Okay.
so you're gonna take care of it anyway, so it doesn't matter. right?
Yeah, we're gonna try and see what the cause of the problem is, yeah.
Does that mean you're gonna fix it, or
Yes.
just see what the cause is?
But we wanna make sure the cause is related to the work we did, but yes, we're gonna investigate what's causing it. And then once we figure out what's causing it, I'm sure we'll let you guys know, but you'll have someone on site as well, so.
Can I just
That
add something?
doesn't sound like an affirmative.
I just don't know
I'm
what's
gonna- I'm gonna
causing
see if I
it,
can clear
so-
that up. So you guys dug a trench in the road.
Mhm.
You're very familiar with what goes on there, right?
I mean, I wasn't here at the time,
Yep,
but yeah.
but are you familiar with, the machines in there digging?
Mhm.
So they don't just dig in there, let's just say you had a 3-foot wide bucket. When they dig, they pull, and they can be grabbing rocks that are on the side. They leave them, they don't take them out. And then you guys came back, you saw cut everything, and you repaired it.
Yeah, it's
So- so
patched
it's-
first and
it's-
then we paid
It's
the whole.
within your repair, is what I'm getting at. Okay?
Yep,
So,
yeah.
all right, I'm just,
We're gonna take,
what
we're
I'm
gonna look
basically
at
saying
it
is,
and figure out what's
you're
going
gonna have
on.
a hard time convincing me
That's fine.
that,
I
that we
wasn't
own
here.
that, not you.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay? All right, appreciate it. Good? Okay? So,
Where do we go from here? Do we just, or is the consensus continue to monitor this if we get more wet weather more regularly in the fall?
yeah, well, you guys say you're gonna be there for probably close to another year anyways, so I don't see us doing anything until we start seeing these other improvements for anything on our side.
Okay, so could we regroup maybe in the fall just to see where we're at and then, I just wanna time,
I'd love to.
yeah, I just
The
wanna.
more communication, the better.
Okay, I just wanna time it so that if we are doing that stuff across the street, we still have people there. I don't wanna
Sure.
be doing it.
I'm hoping
Once
with
we're
everything you
closed.
guys did, like I've said 100 times, that your water stays on your property.
Well, that's
I
the
just don't want a
reason.
headache for the taxpayers in 10 years or maybe 2 years when we have a great flood and that thing's all filled up with sediment and everything else, and now the town of Tyngsborough owns it. I don't wanna see that at all.
Before you then, Dave, can you just get it for our next meeting? You guys don't have to come, the maintenance plan that they're gonna have, or that we agreed to,
Yes.
so we can make sure we know what it is, how often they have to be cleaned, and
Yep, I believe there's an originally approved operations and maintenance plan, and then there was an updated one specifically for Basin 8 when they redid Basin 8, so I can bring both of those.
all right, so we can say, maybe get them out to us before the meeting, so we can
Yeah.
review it. Thanks.
Let's hit real quick on the cobblestones. What's the census of the board? Do we want it back to where it was?
I like them the way they were.
So you like the original plan?
I do.
Okay. Dave, any input on that?
My only concern with that is right now, I don't know off the top of my head, the difference in elevation between the riprap entering Basin 8 and then the high point. I think it could only be 3-4 inches, and you can correct me if.
It might be 6 now.
Okay.
We did kind of further exaggerate it with the
Okay.
changes.
My only concern would be to go back in there and regrade something that is temperamental to begin with. But that would be my only concern with extending the riprap over that high point.
But I think they can make it match, make it all work if they do it. You know, if you're gonna put in the cobblestone, if you have to adjust the heights either way, as long as they work, you know, make it work.
Yes, so the cobbles, are they, how large are the cobbles?
They're like a brick, a normal brick
It's
size.
So like-
basically the Belgian block that
Yeah.
you see.
Okay,
And we have it in other communities, if you want, I can send you a photo.
Right.
But I'm curious what your thoughts are
so,
on the water.
so my thought is depending on what the curvature of the road is coming up from Sherburne to that high point and then back down, if you're gonna start having cobbles going over something like this, I don't know, I mean, it might be a slight enough curvature that a
Yeah,
small enough
I
cobble
don't
that
see
it
it
doesn't
being
matter.
that
So,
rough of
yeah,
an increase, so.
As they say, it's all in the foundation, right?
yes it is.
Okay, so we good with that?
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming in, and like I said, feel free, if you guys wanna hit Ben or Pam up at any time to get on our agenda, to come in and discuss something, come on in, absolutely.
Some of the items we talked about today, like the mowing, I'll email Ben and Dave.
Perfect.
and update them.
Yeah, that's excellent, appreciate it.
That would be in the plan also, though, right? How to maintain
Should
with the
How to maintain
grass cutting?
Oh, yes,
whether
yes,
they
yep.
should be sucked up or not, yeah.
I believe that is in there, but I don't wanna
Yeah,
misquote it.
no, that's fine. If not, maybe we can add it with them.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Austin.
All right, planning board to discuss signing site plans?
That was with these.
Was that with them? Is that what they were here for too?
No,
That's
that's
ours, right?
something that you
Oh.
wanted to talk about.
Yes, it's grouped in with their thing, that's why I'm looking at it.
No, just
Okay, so it's
separate.
planning board to discuss signing off, site plans to ensure thorough review. Kim, you wanna start with any input?
Why was this put on the agenda?
Oh, you weren't here. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, do you want us to skip you and we'll go to Jeremy?
I guess
Okay.
I don't know either, so, what are we discussing?
What is
Daz?
happening?
When do we discuss this?
We haven't yet.
That's what we're here for, that's what, but
So what-
she missed two or three meetings, so
So
she,
what we're discussing is, initially we get a site plan, we review and gets modified, and then is part of our decision. I'm not sure what we're looking at here that we need to be signing off on.
Usually we don't sign it until, this an as-built,
no, we were discussing about the plans, and as they changed things, that we were gonna start signing off on what they changed, so that we had the record of it, cause lately what we've been finding is, we're looking back and saying, what did we do there, where did that go there?
I think before, if we do approve a change, I think the engineer should just, you know, we have the plan, the dated plan, and that's the one, it usually goes to the date, correct? We usually address for any changes on the date of the plan, the revised plan.
Yes, but what we're finding
But
is.
we don't know the change from the beginning to the
Bingo.
end, so on the plan that's revised, should say revised plan and what the change was.
And have the engineer,
Yeah,
once he's done with it, then we, okay.
If there's a
But
question.
that's what we gotta
you
get at,
check.
because we're missing things, in my eyes. And
Okay.
that's what we need to kinda correct and tighten up, so
May I comment?
absolutely, that's what you're here for.
So the Conservation Commission does exactly what Dave is suggesting. Because when they issue their decision, their order of conditions, the plan that goes with it is stamped approved, and the chairman signs it with the date. Any changes that are made to that would also get the same treatment. And that plan is on file in the office, and it's also scanned, and we have an electronic copy.
From the
So-
original to all the revised.
Exactly. So it helps to see what changes were done on a plan, and when it comes down to, in Conservation's, their certificate of compliance, they want to make sure that everything is done as approved. In your case, an as-built. You want to make sure that what you approved, what's been stamped, revised, whatever, has been done as your as-built. So that it just helps
Keep the continuity of the plans.
visually, yeah, and because, especially with the planning board, a lot of minor modifications keep popping up. We get plans up the wazoo every day, you know, and it does help keep the decision and the plan organized, so we know exactly what to expect from the
Sure,
project.
it'll make it easier for you also, right, to keep in one place when somebody's looking for it.
Listen,
I don't know as though
I've
it's
been
gonna
doing
make
this
it.
for 17 years, I've got it down pat.
Okay.
I know, but I just know that when the Conservation instituted this procedure, it helped us a lot, helped the commission a lot, to be able to make sure that what had been approved was done out in the field. And when Emily goes and does an inspection, or the chair or whatever, that they're looking at the plan that was approved during the open meeting 6 months prior. So, and with these site plans, these projects that last years, and there's always something different, you know, they sit down in front of you and they say, well, we modified this, and you don't remember, or we're looking at old stuff and you're not sure if that's the right one, and this just helps everything
Yeah,
be more accurate. So,
sound good.
in my
I
opinion,
absolutely.
I agree with David's suggestion.
So, here's where, just real quick, we were on a site, early in the week, for conservation stuff, but I also attended it with Dave. And it's just something that we got talking about, and I just think it'll make it so much smoother for everybody. And especially if we can lighten the load over there, that she's not chasing after things, like when I call her and ask her,
Sure,
it's a
makes
no-brainer.
sense.
So, sound good with everybody? Do we need to take some sort of vote on this, or just our
No.
conversation's good?
Do we have a process? Like, how would this actually be implemented?
She just described it.
So when,
Well, she's described what conservation does, what
Yeah.
we do.
so when when you vote on your decision, and then the decision is written, and you're gonna sign, so the decision is directly tied to the site plan, the date, the revised plan or whatever. So that plan, which I include with the submission to the town clerk, and it gets recorded, it's not a requirement, but I make it a requirement. So that decision that's filed will also get a stamp that says approved, and you guys will sign it.
Okay.
Or Dave will sign it. You know, in Conservation's case, it's just the chair who's doing it, but we can get everybody's
Just a little bit more
signature.
checks and balances.
Sure,
And
no,
I think
I
it'll make it
totally
smoother for
understand.
everybody.
It just, you know, it
'Cause-
does help in the
Should have it.
future, because we also get, we get records requests, and they're looking for approved plans from, you know, years ago, and we're like, what the heck, which ones are the, you know?
So this site we're on is actually, you guys all know familiar, but it's going on 9 years. So a lot can happen in 9 years.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's why we'll have, there'll be no question. Be no question.
Yeah,
So-
that's great, yep.
All right,
So,
perfect.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, request for comment, the select board is asking for comment regarding a street light being constructed on 50 Locust Avenue. This being proposed for safety reasons due to the area being dark and dangerous to the public during the nighttime.
So these were pictures that were submitted by the applicant. That's the nighttime, obviously, oncoming vehicles. Oh my God, that's the view of his driveway, I guess. Anyway,
I'll start off real quick with this. I think everybody's pretty much familiar with this road, probably travel it once or twice in their life. I'm not sure, but for some reason, I thought there was a street light there years ago. I don't know if in one of the many telephone reconstructions that people do, telephone pole when they hit it, that if it just didn't get put back up there. But I also think it needs signage, like a lot of signage. You know how they put up the arrows, like, you know, in a row, I don't know what they are, maybe 10 feet, 20 feet or whatever. I think that would also help, because it is super dark road. It's a nasty corner, and I bet I'm probably guessing pretty correct that there's probably at least minimum of one accident there a month. But I'm probably on the low side. So that's my input. Kim?
No, I agree, it's, especially in the winter, going over that road is not great, and a light would definitely help you see if it's ice. I'm in favor of it.
Jeremy?
So the applicant is the
person who lives at that house. yeah.
homeowner?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've driven it quite a few times and it makes a lot of sense.
Mike?
Yeah, I have no qualms with that extra light.
Jazz?
Are the accidents happening during the day, or are they happening at night?
Must be night.
Oh, must be.
They do occasionally happen during the day, but I don't think I have to tell you what someone's probably doing when they misjudge that corner in the day. But at nighttime, and you know what? We're given our, basically our opinion, but if you get a chance to take a ride down that road,
Oh, I'm familiar with that.
especially this time of year, things have changed on it. So it's just, and you know as well as I do.
I'm not opposed to it, I think it's a great idea, I'm just, I like your idea, it needs to be more.
I think
than just a
I
light.
think they need signage also. If you could put that in there, back to, you know, maybe we request that they put up some of those arrows and stuff.
Street corner, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Approval of minutes for August 21st, 2025.
Should I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 21st, 2025 as written?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. New business, topics that the chairman did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. 166 Frost Road, the select board requests comments.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may, 166 Frost Road is the Drake Water Supply District, and they are currently in front of the Conservation Commission for a stormwater management permit to build a new PFAS treatment facility, which will be placed in front of the existing manganese treatment building that was finished. And since it's a public utility, it falls under the jurisdiction of the select board for the permit. And they're requesting your comment on the project.
Kimberly?
No comment?
Jeremy?
Where's this located? Is it like way down back, or is it right on the road?
Right on the road,
It's right
right
on the-
after you pass the light at Norris Road, right on the left there.
It's fenced.
Is there any reason why we don't have any plans on it, or elevations, or anything?
Conservation Commission is reviewing it, and.
I guess that would be my comment, since we're the planning board, it'd be nice to know how it fits in with the community. I think that was one of my big
That's-
comments back
yeah.
when they did the original
Yeah.
one back in 21.
Yes, the select board is the permitting granting authority for this type of thing because it's a public utility, but it is being reviewed by David for stormwater.
I guess my comment would be, like, I would hope that we're looking at how it fits in with the neighborhood aesthetically, and, you know, I get it that the PFAS systems is a huge push these days. The forever chemicals, I believe that's what they are. So I get it that it's needed, but I just wanna make sure that it fits in. Yeah, that's my only thing.
Mike?
No comments.
Chaz?
Yeah, why wasn't this part of the original plan? All of a sudden they're coming up with this and,
PFAS is a thing that has been a big push over the last
I
2 years.
I don't think that they had the funding at the time when they were doing the manganese plant, and then they got the funding to do this other building.
and I understand what you're saying, Jeremy, but it's not something that's new. I would have thought that this would be something that they would anticipate when they were originally coming before us.
Maybe they did.
And, thank you, Steve. So I'm just disappointed that we didn't know about this, and yeah, I'd like to see what it looks like, and how close it's gonna be to the road, and if it's gonna fit in the neighborhood, and those sort of things, because this was a big controversy at the time when we first started looking at this, and this just seems like, okay, well, we didn't wanna push too hard, so now we'll hit it now. I don't like that kind of stuff, so, my comment.
Steve?
Yeah, just, I'll pass. They just finished it, correct? A couple of years? They just built the other one there?
Yeah, probably not even a couple
Yeah.
of years.
Because there was a controversy with the house and all that. Yeah, no comment, I guess.
Just quickly, two things. I would like to see a copy of the landscape plan that we went over pretty thoroughly. I don't think it was completed as to what we were expecting. And secondly, I would like to push our comments off till our next meeting so that we can see some of this stuff.
Do we have the as-built?
Get what we can from conservation, what they have. We'll take a peek at it all. And I would like to see the
Dave can check.
landscape design, yep, because someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of our problem, Chaz, when we were doing this is we wanted it kind of hidden from the, okay, I thought, and I think we're probably pretty much on the same page if we remember. So if we could, I'd like to push this, our comment off until we get to review a couple of things, so that we make the Board of Selectmen aware of
Sure.
Yeah.
some
'Cause
major concerns.
The public hearing for this, for them, is October 6th. Our next meeting is October 2nd, so it's perfect timing.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'll assemble all the documents and email everything to you so you can look at it in advance of the meeting.
I remember the other building was, I think, it was just like CMU block on the outside, and we just wanted to have lap siding or something that fit in with the residential character of that neighborhood, so
Correct.
it'd be nice to see it with some pitched roof or, lap siding or something like that.
Sounds good, so that's what we'll do. All right, old business.
No,
Yep.
no more.
Middlesex Road?
Oh, I'm sorry. 440 Middlesex Road, Tacky Restaurant, ZBA request for comments. Kimberly?
I think it will probably fit in with the nature of the shopping center where it's gonna be, so I don't have any problem, no comment.
Jeremy?
I know that we had just recently on the zoning review committee talked about a lot of signage things, so I know that the ZBA has a handle on this, but, I guess just to reiterate, just what, we just want to make sure that any precedent that we're setting with this is okay with what could happen with other parcels. I know we had, I believe we allowed what is it, I can't remember the name of the restaurant right out the front.
Tavern on the Square.
Tavern in the Square, we allowed signage on both sides on that building.
And they
I
put
just-
wallpaper on the outside.
Right, they kind of get away with it, right?
Chad's favorite.
I think this is this is a great asset to the community. We've been seeking, I believe they've been seeking a tenant in that back parcel for quite some time. I think this will be great. I just want to make sure that, if, are we setting a precedent for really large signage? I know that the town had problems well back before I was here, so.
I think it was with the neon signs more.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, does this thing light up, flash, and twist and dance?
I don't think they allow neons.
I know, that's what I'm wondering what this one
It's
does.
front lit.
LED sign.
So, but that'd be one of my questions. questions, is it gonna flash and?
No, it was
It's-
just a discussion point with the.
According to
I don't know.
their scope of work, it's LED internal illumination. So it's not
Mike?
going to dance.
I guess my comment would agree that I don't want to see it shimmering or dancing in that regard, but other than that, I think it fits the character of that area of town.
Chaz?
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy's comments, don't need to say any more.
Steve?
I'll say.
So, I mean, I think we all would like to see the restaurant go in there, but we definitely have a question of what the signage is gonna be. Does that sound good for the board? Just, you know, is ZBA gonna allow this, and what kind of precedent are we setting for the next plaza or wherever else we may turn to? That might be a lot closer to a main drag that people are going by at 45 miles an hour.
Because technically, I know that, so they're calling a primary sign on the main entrance and then the secondary sign on the side of the building. That's technically not the side of the building, right? I mean, they're both front facing. I know it does
Right.
have a change in plane, but I feel like they're skirting the rules of
The
what the
rendering.
bylaw is.
The rendering shows the,
Right, and that's why I'm referring to the Tavern in the Square, because I believe that was two
I
different.
I just have one quick question to that, because you pointed out a good point. When you look at the top picture of the building, it shows the two sections of the building, then it goes down and it shows, and they're asking for a sign on the side. What I do see in the second rendering is a building in the back, so is this actually the other side of the building, in between the two buildings where they have the opening?
I think that's just a
AI?
a bad rendering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
All right.
Jeremy has it right. They're
Okay.
It's a,
Two signs on one building.
But it's not, I would,
kind of like
I
what
would-
Top Line Granite has.
Yeah.
Got Top Line Granite and showroom.
do that, yeah. I guess I would just like to point out, it's not a side of the building.
Sounds good. All right,
motion.
old business, anybody have any old business? Just one thing to throw out here, that new pizza shop opened up in Tyngsborough, get a chance, swing
They're
by.
open now?
They are open.
Big Al's.
Big Al?
Big Al's Pizza, if you,
The ones from Hudson,
I had the
correct?
pleasure to go over there the other day. I had the salad, it was good. But no, try it out, and, there has been some chatter, maybe Pam can answer this, because I didn't hear of it, but do we have a new coffee shop coming to Tyngsborough?
Perhaps. To
Okay,
replace
that's
mine.
your answer, people,
There we go.
perhaps. All right,
Yeah, we're, the plaza across the street from the Flint Corner Plaza there.
Domino's.
Yeah, where the Domino's in, yeah, the owners of that, they're proposing, a coffee shop, like a mom and pop kind of coffee shop, off-brand.
Great.
Yeah, we don't have a name, they've been tossing around different names for a while, and I don't think they've,
I thought they were full. They're an empty
yeah,
unit
they have
there?
one more
Oh.
unit. Good,
yeah.
so hopefully that answers the taxpayer's question. Thank you, Pam.
Motion
Anytime.
to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.